and I really enjoyed the humor and stories and poetry. I mean, the love is expressed through these methods. So now it's my honor to introduce two dignitaries who have taken time out of their busy schedules to join us in this opening ceremony. The first is the Honorable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, is the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. She plays an important role in promoting awareness and action related to reconciliation and with Indigenous people, fostering a sense of identity among the people of Ontario, and encouraging Ontarians to take part in activities aimed at building more just and sustainable communities. What a great task. Minister of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship, Ahmed Hussain, is the Member of Parliament for the riding of York's Southwestern. A lawyer and social activist, he has a proven track record of leadership and community empowerment. Please welcome our first speaker.
Chief Laforme, Chief Hill, Minister Hussain, distinguished guests, friends, mes chers amis. Good evening, bonsoir, bonjour. Welcome to you all most warmly, and particularly to those visiting Ontario and Canada from beyond our borders. Je suis ravie d'être ici avec vous ce soir. As people around the world struggle to make sense of last week's dreadful events in Pittsburgh, I am reminded of the fragility of religious tolerance and freedom. We must never rest in guarding against the normalization of hate in all its forms. Place matters. It's fitting that this Parliament should convene in Toronto, a city where people of nearly every faith tradition imaginable worship freely and regularly come together. This is a place of diversity. For thousands of years, many Indigenous nations have stewarded these lands, as you have heard. And centuries after the first treaties were signed with the Crown, the treaties endure as symbols of kinship and mutual obligation. We have much to learn, and I'm very much appreciative of the active participation of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in this Parliament, a positive step on the path to reconciliation. Seldom do we have the opportunity to come together as a community, to be inspired by those who ask the big questions, those who provoke us to consider challenging ideas. And your agenda does not shy away from the reality that despite the blessings that we have secured for ourselves, humanity is still a work in progress. And so you challenge us to think deeply about the dignity of persons, the equality of women, the belonging of immigrants and refugees, and the cohesion of all demographic slices of society. You hold up a mirror to us, challenging us to reject hate and violence, and to define peace as much more than the absence of war, but the presence of shelter, health, food, education, and opportunity. You remind us that caring for the earth is fundamental to a sustainable future. That's a comprehensive agenda, a conversation that this world needs in these complex and troubling times. In considering our mutual vulnerabilities, faith and active faith can provide guidance, confidence, and courage in charting a path forward toward resilience, sustainability, and harmony in the face of exponential change. A faith perspective was central to the development of this country. For me, as an immigrant and a child of the manse, it is personal. While my mother taught us Bible stories on Sunday afternoons, it was my clergyman father who understood his mission to be so much more, so much beyond the sermons he'd deliver on a Sunday morning in a church. It was the very life of the community, from hospitals to policing, and very early lessons in social justice. But my story's not unique. In the DNA of many communities in this country is an understanding that although we may practice different religious faiths, we can agree on fundamental values that allow us to work in common cause to build a stronger, more caring society. And in many parts of the world, it's actually spirituality that drives people to speak so forcefully, yet with humility, about the need to see ourselves as but one small part of the ecosystem and from the unique perspective of 7 generations. The desire for a world that works for everyone is nearly universal. That's undoubtedly what motivated the member states of the United Nations to design and negotiate a sustainability agenda for 2030. And I would suggest that your agenda actually aligns closely with those pillars of sustainability: inclusive economic prosperity, environmental stewardship, social and cultural cohesion. When people of faith cooperate among themselves, across parishes, denominations, and sects, and with the wider world, as is occurring here, a powerful and positive force is the undoubted result. You show that it is actually possible to move from good intentions to good works, from rhetoric to action. And when it's all too easy to fall into the trap of cynicism and despair, or to retreat into echo chambers, or embrace facile solutions to intractable problems, we would all be wise to remember that throughout history, the greatest challenges have never been overcome by isolation, but through collaboration, open hearts, and open minds. The antidote to what ails us may be found in part within faith, and this Parliament is poised to make a welcome and indeed necessary contribution. I thank Robert Sellers, Larry Greenfield, and all the Parliament of World Religions for your great efforts in building upon this historic institution's foundations. To the hundreds of volunteers who've together donated thousands of hours of service, your efforts are so essential so that delegates, when they get here, can make the most of the time together, that they may share a meal together every day. So well done. And I thank all of you for your engagement with the world. It was Mother Teresa who said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." As we seek difficult transformation in all of our societies, may we live lives of value, fulfillment, generosity, and grace. My very best wishes for informative, thoughtful, and productive conversations in these coming days. Thank you. Merci, miigwech.